Welcome back, guys. We finally continue our Storm of Vengeance campaign with Scenario 3, Cut and Run, and we hope that you are as excited as we. Scenario 3, Cut and Run. Space Marines patrols encounter unexpected resistance. While the Dark Angels battle to push Ghazghkull from Cadilus Harbor, Master Belial sends scouting forces eastward to evaluate the extent of the foe they faced. After pushing through a weak screen of greenskins, the scouts reported little Ork activity. The bulk of Ghazghkull's horde was fighting in Cadilus Harbor. But not long after these promising initial reports, things started to go wrong. Scattered accounts of huge Ork reinforcements began to come through, and many of the scout squads disappeared without trace. Disturbed by these events, Belial concentrated his recon forces where it seemed the Orks were massing, on the eastern slopes approaching Koth Ridge. Okay guys, these are my 350 points of the small scouting force of the Dark Angels. As you can see, not much models, but as we will outline in the setup, hopefully it will be sufficient to win the scenario. Okay, the small detachment is led by an interrogator chaplain as the two battles before. He is equipped with his normal weapons and armor. He got one power sword, and as a wargear card at jump pack, I'm only allowed to equip wargear to a maximum value of 20 points. So with the jump pack, as you can see why I choose this a little bit later, it costs 10 points, so I'm well within the limit. Then I have two squads. The first squads are 5 scouts, including a sergeant and 4 normal scouts. They are equipped with bolt pistol, chainsword, frag grenades and 1 heavy bolter as shown on the model. And the sergeant has in addition a plasma pistol. And finally my second squad, only consisting of 1 unit, or 1 model, is a ravening attack bike squadron. The 2 Space Marines are equipped with bolt pistols and frag grenades, wearing power armor of course, and as you can see the bike itself is equipped with a twin-link bolters and a multi-melter, both with targeters. Okay, in a minute Marcus will present his wild orcs.
So, and as you can see, I've got only 4 minis here out of my 1200 points. These are the characters. I use this one I bought painted, as well as this one, and the 2 I painted especially for our scenario. This one will replace Nazdreg because I've got an unpainted Nazdreg model and this one looks better. Okay, Nazdreg and my army is split into 6 contingents. So I have to roll at the beginning of each turn. If I roll 4+, one of them will arrive. So Nazdreg himself will be in contingent 1, whereas my drill boss is in contingent 2, the mechanic in contingent 3, and the commando captain, the Blood Axe commando captain, in contingent 4. And the mobs or vehicles which join them are 4 death skulls in the first contingent, 5 storm boys in the second one, 3 nobs in mega armor with heavy bolters, 2 of them in contingent 3, Blood Axe commandos in contingent 4, cyborgs, snakebites mounted on not only boars but cyborgs in contingent 5, and the last one consists of 2 war bikes and a scorcher. Normally Alex wouldn't know it, but as we are playing this one for the third time, it's not that great surprise. Okay. Okay, for this scenario, number 3, they recommended a table 60 inches by 48. This one is only 40 inches, but 60 is over there, from there to there long. Okay, as you can see, we've already dealt our strategy cards. I've got insane courage, but I'm not sure if I'll have to use it, whereas Alex wants is barrage. Okay, who is going first and what do we have to do in this mission?
As you can see, the Dark Angels have already deployed their forces as they start the game. And in order to win, the Space Marines must get their entire scouting force at least 24 inch onto the table. That is here at the mountains or the ridge from my deployment zone.
So they are already inside.
Are already in the scouting zone.
By infiltrating?
Here, by infiltrating. And my Ravening attack bike as well as the Chaplain are still in the deployment zone. So they have to move at least 24 inch in order that my whole army is within the scouting zone. And the more important thing to win this scenario for the Space Marines, at least one model of my 7 models in total has to get back off the table edge on this side.
In order to tell their fellow Space Marines
that
about
the Orks are
the incoming Ork assault.
More reinforced than expected. And in order to win for the Orks, they must wipe out all of the Space Marines. So,
but you aren't allowed to leave before I roll contingents mounted on doors,
and
side
Marcus,
doors.
as you can see, Marcus had not deployed already, so his forces will enter from this side of the table, and he has to roll a certain dice.
Yeah, I have to roll 4+ first, at the beginning of each Ork turn. If I roll 1, 2, 3, none of the contingents will appear. If I roll 4+, I have to roll another d6 and see which one will appear.
Okay, and now it's another important thing to mention. The Space Marines will not withdraw until they are sure they are facing overwhelming odds. So Space Marines that have entered the scouting zone may not leave it until one of 2 things happens. The Orks roll for a reinforcement contingent and it is already in play. In this case I can start to withdraw. Or the second target, when Orks mounted on boars or bikes or driving vehicles arrive. If this thing happens, I'm also allowed to withdraw, but first of all, in order to withdraw, I have to enter the scouting zone with my whole army.
So the most important thing for me would be to kill your jump pack wearing interrogator chaplain first with heavy bolt or stuff like that. Because then I'd have enough time in case my boar boys, cybors appear, or my war bikes appear, or the Scorcher appear, to run them down. Okay.
Okay, this was the scenario outline, and we'll back at
the beginning
of the first one. Okay, guys, that's the end of my first turn of the Dark Angels. As you surely expected. It was a really quick round for the Dark Angels because as there are no Orks on the table, I couldn't do much. My scouts went on Overwatch and my attack bike went on combat speed and drove 18 inches towards the scouting zone, as well as my interrogator chaplain, which used his jump pack in order to get as well closer to the scouting zone. Let's see if some Orks will appear in the first round.
Okay, that's the movement phase done of my first turn. After I rolled a 4, I rolled another d6 and rolled a 3, which meant that contingent 3 entered from my edge of the table. And these are my mechanic with the flamer and telescopic legs and the bull pistol and so on, and my boar boys, but the boar boys ride cyborgs and they're really expensive. Okay.
That means as now in your first turn is boar boys arrived or cyborgs, I'm allowed to withdraw in principle. But before I can even think about withdrawing units, my whole army must enter the scouting zone. So what I do now is fire Overwatch with my heavy bolter onto the boar boys, because they moved over 10 inch and we agreed that they emerged from cover from the jungle or ice world beneath. So I got a -2 hit modifier, meaning normally I will hit on 4+, now 6+, with a targeter it's 5+ to hit with the heavy bolter and Overwatch. Which I do.
Okay, 2005 dice.
Okay,
3 hits.
So 2 on this one and 1 on this.
Strength toughness on this one.
Strength 5 versus toughness
4.
Okay, is a 3+. So 1 hit, 1 wound, and on the other one, no.
So this one, you've got a -2
save modifier.
and I've got 4+ because of flag and mount. So it's now a 6+, and otherwise I'll get D4 wounds, but even 1 is enough. No, so 1 is dead.
Okay, I remove the Overwatch marker.
I remove the unpainted one.
Yeah. Okay, and this was the end of the first turn.
Yeah.
Or can you shoot at the cards?
I'll try to do so, just for fun.
Because I only just have pistols, which are out of range, but maybe you have other weapons.
I've got access, bolt pistols and chainswords. I'll try my luck with bolt pistols. All of them will shoot. 1, 2, 3, 4. But I've got a bad ballistic skill and you're in hard cover, so it's probably only on 6s. I just rolled.
Okay. So 4 times.
So if you don't have 3 6s, should be hits.
3 hits.
Okay. Strength 4 versus toughness
On
3.
3 different dice.
3 different dice.
4 versus 4, wounding on
3s.
Oh no, this cards have only toughness 3, of
So
course.
on 3s.
So, yeah, wounding on 3s. Oh,
None of them, yeah.
Incredible luck by hitting 3s, not failing to wound.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then we'll be back after the second turn of the Dark Angels. Okay guys, that's the end of my second turn of the Dark Angels. As you can see, with the end of the movement phase, my whole army is now within the scouting zone. The Interrogator Chaplain run 8 inches in order to get into the scouting zone, as well as the attack bike, which traveled 11 inches at combat speed to enter the scouting zone, and the scouts were already due to infiltration in the scouting zone at the start of the game.
Yeah, so from the next turn on,
I can try to withdraw, but first of all, I
bring
try
intelligence to Master
punish
Belial.
the Ork Waaagh boys. So once again, I start with the heavy bolter, which will hit again on a 5+. This time he is not so successful, and then I continue with my attack bike, shooting with the multi-melter.
I think you rolling a hit and a misfire is the only chance of me surviving.
Okay, ballistic skill of 4, meaning I will hit on 3s, -2, 5+, targeter 4+. With the multi-melter onto the boar boys, yes.
Okay.
And I think it's a 2-inch blast marker, meaning this one is completely beneath the template, and the other on a 4+. No? Okay, only
So
1.
strength toughness.
2+, yeah.
Yep. So this one
So I
is
think
for
it's
sure.
melted.
Yeah. I think it's -4.
Completely
so no save left.
vaporized.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll do my break test. Yeah. Now they have to flee
But you have the...
towards the next cover.
Maybe can't use those cards.
But maybe it's better to get into the next cover before being shot by the other scouts with their bolt pistols.
But the only guys who can shoot is a twinning bolter, I think.
And
because they're only pistols.
Okay, I can't do it anyway at this point of the game. It says instead of rallying, which comes at the end.
Okay.
So I can think about it.
Okay, then I will shoot with my twinning bolters.
To hit.
Missed. Okay, that's the end of my shooting phase. And do they flee in a random direction, or is this counting as cover? And they
No, I don't think this is the next cover. I think the next cover would be over there, inside the ruins. Okay.
Okay, that's the end of my second turn.
Okay, this seems to be my last chance. I think somebody has heard all my prayers. Maybe it was Mork or even Gork. Okay, I rolled a 4+ once more, followed by
A 2,
yeah,
meaning your second contingent arrives.
yeah, and they were joined by a drill boss.
Meaning the storm boys arrived, including their drill boss.
So my mechanic used his telescopic legs to get closer towards the approaching attack bike and the scouts in the ruins. I really hope my stretchy card, my insane courage, will help me charge and I hope kill the interrogator chaplain for sure at the end during my rally phase.
Yeah, we should say the warlords tried to reach the next cover, but rolled
Only 4.
very, very low, so they didn't manage to get into cover.
And here we've got lots of scattered, but I was really lucky, none of them exploded in mid-air. Lots of scattered, no misfire rolled.
Yeah. And if you are worried that this guy isn't flamed yet, he just carries a flamer, so we decided to show it by the flamed marker.
The mechanic, the drill boss, which might be fun and a great success, have got flamers and one of the normal storm boys. Okay, so movement has been done. All that's left is some shooting. I'll do the storm boys first. They've got a bliss skill of 3, so they hit on 4s, and 3 of them are within range of
These cards?
Yeah, I think all of them are trying their luck on the one who isn't in cover, so it's a roll of 4. Two hits, strength toughness, 4 versus 3, yeah. And now it's a -1, so he's got a 2 4+ armor saves. No, so the first scout died. And my mechanic is using his bolt pistol onto your attack bike. I think I've got a bliss skill of 4s, 3s, or 5s.
Because it went more than 10 inches and have the chink ability of the Dark Angels.
No. So the only shooting left
is your drill boss.
Drill boss with my flamer, and I think
He uses it onto the attack bike.
Attack bike.
Okay, so
it's no use rolling against the armor value of the bike.
I don't know what is the.
It's just D6 + 4 or stuff like that.
But I have only 10.
Okay.
Roll a 6, so you can penetrate the armor.
So let's roll just for fun. No.
Okay, then you hit both the driver and the gunner.
Yeah.
With a strange 4. Normal flamer.
4 versus toughness 4.
Okay, meaning 4+ to wound the driver. No.
No.
The gunner. No.
No. And
Are
they
they set on
burn.
fire on a 4 plus, the driver? Yes. And the gunner? No. Okay, the driver is set on fire.
Yeah.
Maybe we shuffle the flame template to figure it out. Okay. I think that was your shooting phase.
That's nearly the end. So that's where my insane courage comes into play.
Okay, what?
It says, instead of rolling the dice when you attempt to rally a broken squad, the squad is truly inspired and rallies automatically. Furthermore, the troops leap straight back into action without pause. The squad may immediately take a normal turn, so they may, for example, move and fire or charge into hand-to-hand combat, or go into Overwatch or whatever. After this initial burst of activity, the squad acts as normal from the player's next turn onwards and may be subsequently broken again.
Okay, perfect. I think maybe the normal roll for rally, I think you have to be in cover or out of sight of the enemy to roll, but I think we agree that the strategy card is powerful enough that they can even rally if they are not in cover yet. So we remove the proc marker and you are
I'd
able
like to do. I'd like to
red
hit
button.
the red button, which gives me another plus d4 attacks and plus d6 plus 4 bonus on movement after doubling for charging.
So you're
d6 plus 4.
Yeah, you're able to reach the
6, so it's
chaplain, yeah.
26.
Yeah. It's in range.
Yeah. Okay, so these 3 will all of them attack.
And do we have to roll for the hand-to-hand combat in this turn? Or because it said to have 1.
For example, move and fire or charge into hand-to-hand combat or go with an Overwatch or whatever. I'm not sure, to be honest. But
because normally
if you don't do so, I think we should consider my bonus.
Yeah, for the next turn, definitely, yeah, sure. But we don't know if we have to roll for the hand-to-hand combat because we are normally in the rally phase at the end of Marcus' turn.
Yeah.
Let's say we perform the hand-to-hand combat in the next turn, but you get your bonus for the red button of the cyborg. Okay, that was a really not so good second turn for the Dark Angels because the chaplain is now entangled in hand-to-hand combat and can't flee. The driver of the attack bike is killed, or is flamed, not killed yet.
Yeah.
Maybe the gunner will kick him off and take over the bike. And the scouts, lost 1 man, but let's see how the next turn turned out. Okay, that's the end of the third movement phase of the Dark Angels. Okay, what has happened? In Marcus' turn, you already noticed that the cyborgs successfully charged into the interrogator chaplain due to their insane courage strategy card. My attack bike, the driver was flamed in Marcus' turn, so I have to roll if the flames are extinguished or continue to burn, which they did. And unfortunately, my driver was slain by the flames, making my bike go out of control, and it drove, I think, 8 inches in this direction. And during my third turn, the gunner took over the driver's seat, so we placed the skull onto the gunner to figure out that the gunner seat is not occupied and the driver is there, so he can drive away next turn if he survives the next turn. My scouts, on the other hand, try to get off at the end of the battlefield. Because they're scouts, they can use their dispersed formation, meaning they have, in order to keep their squad currency, they can stand up to 4 inches. So my bolter remains stationary in order he can shoot at the storm boys, where the other 3 guys of the squad shifted towards the western end of the table in order to disappear from the battlefield. Okay, that was my movement phase. Now on to the shooting phase, starting with the barrage. I use my strategy card, so I put the 3-inch blast marker here, and now it's a rather, maybe bad strategy card because I have to roll 2d6.
I hope for 12.
And a scatter dice in order to see in which direction and how far the barrage scatters.
I hope you'll kill either scouts or...
Okay, it scatters 10 inch in this direction. I think one can assume it doesn't have any effect on the enemy. So it's not such... I think the bombing run or strafing run,
is great.
Would be more...
Because I think it auto hits, you only have to roll assassin fire dice.
It would be better. Okay, so my strategy card is spent for North. And now on to the heavy bolter. Maybe he's more lucky this time hitting the barbard, but I think he doesn't hit. Normally he would hit on a...
Normally he'd hit on a 3, because he's got a ballistic skill of 4 and a ballistic skill of 3 and a targeter. But as they've jumped
out from nowhere for -2s on 5s, but maybe, I don't know, is
maybe
there
you've got a short range.
I don't know if the heavy bolter
Let's look it up.
gets a hit modifier for short range. I think the range is 40 inch.
No.
I don't know, within 20 inch now.
Terminator, cyclone, missile launcher, multi-laser, and shooting cannon would have at 1.
Okay, so the heavy bolter misses, which is not good because now all storm will survive, unfortunately. And I think that's
for the
end
moment
of my shooting phase. And we can
do the close combat.
With the close combat phase.
Well, this one will be ugly.
Okay. So my interrogator chaplain has 2 attacks and 2 close combat weapons, resulting in 3 attacks in total.
Each of my snakebites has got bolt pistol, axe and chainsword, and will fight with bolt pistol and chainsword in order to get a parry. I've got 1 attack, so 2 attacks because of 2 close combat weapons. I've got 2 attacks of my boars, and I get another D4 attacks
for your
roll separately for my red button. So the first one has got, can't read it, it's 3.
Okay, 3 additional attacks. So let's start with the first one.
It's a lot of dice. You've got 1 parry as well?
Yeah, I've got power sword and the Kurzes Arcana. Okay, 2 6s, that's nice.
Yeah, that's great, because I'm sure I've got more 1s than you've got 6s. So there's 1.
So let's figure it
move
out.
It. Yeah.
6. Okay, I've got 6 plus 6 is 12, 13.
And me, I've only got 6 plus 3 is 9, charging 10. So you've got...
I've got 3 hits with the power sword.
Yeah.
I think it's strength 6.
No, it's 5. It is 4. It's 3. 3 plus.
Yeah.
And it's -3, I think. And I've only got a Cypor 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus isn't possible. So I think the first one is dead. Yeah.
Hooray!
Okay.
Do they have to perform a break test?
We can roll.
Okay. They pass it, so the next one.
Got 1, 2, 4 plus d4 is another 3, and the next attacker. So I've got 4 attacks.
I've got a total of 11.
Probably get 3 ones from me. Yeah. 1, 1 and 1, 6. So we've got 2 6s left. That's great. Okay. Now I've got 3 plus 6 is 9. Charging is 10. Second 6 is 11. Second attacker is 12. So I've got 1 strike.
Okay.
With my
toughness of
chainsaw,
5.
and I've only got 4, so it's
5
5.
to wound. No.
No.
Okay, then your last cyborg.
Yeah.
Ooh. 3 1 1. Oh my god. So once again
3 attacks.
So
So 3 attacks because of my red button, 2 because of being the third attacker, and another 4 because of my own and the side wars attacks.
Okay, let's roll loads of ones.
Don't think I'll be able to kill this one. So you can remove your ones.
Oh, you got 2 ones as well, or?
I've got 3 ones. So
3, okay.
and you get 1 from me.
Okay, so I've got a combat value of 6 plus 3 is 9, 10.
And I've got 6 and 3 is 9, charging 10, 11, 12. So I've got 2 hits.
Wound on 5s.
Okay. Only 1. I've got your armor save.
I use my Crosses Arcanum first.
Okay.
4 plus? No.
No. So
and
your armor
my
save?
armor save. Yes.
Yeah. So no wound suffered. And they remain locked in close combat, although my chances are slim because now the additional D4
the red button
are
fades
gone.
out.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the end of my third turn. To be honest, it looks very dire because my interrogator can't jump away.
Because this one is still alive.
Attack bike is in the middle of nowhere and will, I think, now be flamed or shot down, and my scouts are rather slow compared to the Stormboys, but maybe someone survived to report back to Master Belial.
Okay, before my third movement phase of my third turn started, I was lucky, I rolled another high.
I have to admit that Marcus rolled very un-orky during this turn. It's the third turn of the Orks, and in every turn he managed to roll a 4 up.
For a contingent. And this time the follow-up roll was a 2, and I've already had a 2, so I was able to choose one of my remaining contingents, and I chose the Scorcher and the 2 war bikes, which have already been kind of damaged by the barrage. Maybe they'll be painted up to scenario 4. Let's see. Okay, so what else happened? They remained in close combat. He advanced in order to use his flamer onto the gunner, swapping to the driver's position in order to regain the control of the attack bike. And they charged. Luckily, none of them rolled a misfire.
As mentioned from me before, very un-orky dice rolls.
Which would have resulted in a blow up in mid-air or stuff like that. Only one scattered outside, and the other one, the one carrying the flamer.
So each one is now in close combat with one Stormboy from my scouts.
Okay, so the only shooting will be
when you want to start with the flamer? Okay.
No.
So you can roll for the armor.
Just for fun. On a 6.
On a 6? No?
No.
Okay, then the driver is killed on a 4+.
Strength toughness? No.
Is he flamed 4+? No. Hey! But now the twin-linked autocannons of the war bikes make
for sure.
maybe a short.
Okay. The first of them.
And I think even the Scorch is a heavy flamer. Maybe even it hits the bike. But you can shoot with the autocannons first.
I think this one is out of. No, doesn't have a line of sight, but this one. So on a 4, I think.
Okay, you only get -1 because of the chink, because it moves at slow speed.
So on 5. No. And
maybe even heavy flamer template. Or is it just
if it's heavy enough. No, it's a large one.
I think it suffices that and maybe it has even a higher armor penetration.
This time it's strength. Let's do the normal marine guy first. It's strength 5 versus toughness 4. On 3s. Yeah. And so now it's -3, I think. So it's even only on 6+. No. So it's dead and it will go out of control.
But I think in the
we can remove it.
45 degrees angles left or right, there's no enemy, and so it's removed as a casualty.
And
Okay, that
Yeah,
was the
and
shooting
I
phase.
only got close combat left.
Okay, where do you want to start?
I'd like to do the Storm Boys first.
Okay.
Get some.
Maybe let's start with the drill boss and the sergeant.
I've got power sword and bolt pistol.
I got chainsaw and plasma pistol.
Okay. And I've got a 4+ armor, weapon skill 4 precision. Okay. Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay.
Oh, this was bad. Yours is better. Okay, I've got 4 and 3 is 7, charging is 8.
I got 4 and 5 is 9.
Yeah, you've got one hit.
Maybe with the plasma pistol.
Okay,
Strange 5 or
just
6.
roll. Let's see.
Do you have the
I looked up.
weapon transfer sheet? Okay, it's a plasma pistol.
Plasma pistol is strength 6.
6. Okay, then it's wounded. And the save modifier?
Save modifier for plasma pistol is -1.
-1. So do you have an armor, your drill boss?
Heavy armor, so I've got a 4+, which is a 5+.
-1, so 5+ armor save.
And then he's dead. Yeah.
Just 1 wound?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
I think yeah, it's quite interesting because historically, quote, the only guy which survived the scenario allowed the campaign book was the sergeant of the scouts, which then turned out to Sergeant Neyman, for which GW published appropriate model. But
one we've already painted.
yeah, but it's not the special character yet because he has to escape first and survive as a lone.
I think he's the special character from the 5th scenario on.
Yeah.
Because then when he tried to kill Snotlings without being hurt.
Yeah, it's a quite funny scenario. We are looking forward to play this soon. Okay, so the second close combat.
Yeah. I've got bolt pistol and chainsword, but only I've got a weapon scale of 3 this time.
Bolt pistol and chainsword as well.
Okay.
Okay, so 2 attacks. So 5 and 4 is 9.
Oh, that's
10.
rubbish. Yeah.
But you got 10 as well.
10. Yeah.
So I've got an initiative of 4.
I've got an initiative of 4 as well.
Okay, so it's a
draw.
draw. Okay, then the next one. Ooh.
I've got 6, 7, 8.
I got 6.
So 2 hits on 3s.
4, toughness 3.
One of
So
them.
1 hit. So
-1.
Count
so
armor 4 plus or 5 armor save. No.
So this one is dead. And I'm going to do a follow-up move in this direction.
Okay, then the guy carrying a heavy bolter, which receive a -1 because he's encumbered by carrying the heavy bolter. So, okay, I've got 6 -1, 5. I've got only 5.
9, 10.
Okay, so 5 hits. 5 times 3 up to wound. No, that's a lot. So 4 times 5 up to save. Ooh,
Nearly.
no.
Yeah. Put his gun. And this one is going to do a follow-up 2 inches.
Okay, then on to the interrogator chaplain, which fights again with his power sword and curses arcane, but now you...
I think the best thing would be if
I kill them both.
Yeah.
And
So
then
that,
jump away.
so that I can use my autocannons onto this one. I think it's the only way of getting your toughness 5 and 4+ save. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, let's roll. Okay, I've got 6 and 6 is 12.
That's bad. They don't have a leader. Yeah. I couldn't bring along the model you gave me for my birthday because it was way too expensive.
Okay, the fumble is cancelled out. So I got 12.
I've got 8.
Okay, so 4 hits with the power sword. 5 versus 4 is 3 is 2 wounds, so 2 wounds.
2 wounds. And you, I think they hit
it's
because the power sword is -3.
Okay,
And
then your second attacker.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 6 and 1 is 12. The fumble is cancelled out, so it's 12 again.
And I've got 6, 7.
7, okay,
So he's
so
this
it's
way.
5 hits with the power sword, 3 up.
Yeah.
Okay, then I use my follow-up to jump one step further on the mountain.
It's a poor performance.
Yeah, but I think the Interrogator Chaplain is really a tough character.
I don't understand. He isn't allowed to lead an army due to the codex, because I think especially on these point levels, it would be unreal for a Space Marine captain to arrive in person.
But I think in our 12th issue they said that even lesser character models can lead an army. Even for the Elder, for example, a warlord or how is it called? Not a spec warrior.
An Exarch.
Exarch can lead a small Elder warhorse because it doesn't make sense for this point to use a Farseer to lead 500 points of Elder, for example. Okay, that's the end of your third turn.
Okay, and on you go with jumping
to safety, hopefully.
Yeah.
Guys, that's the end of my fourth turn. In fact, I have only 3 models left. And the scouts, one scout is still entangled in close combat, and we just read in the rulebook that during hand-to-hand combat there's no squad currency rule. So, as at least I interpret the rules, my sergeant ran 8 inches away in order to get to the western end of the table, as well as my chaplain jumped with his jump back 18 inches behind cover. And one scout is still in close combat, so that's the end of my movement phase. Both models who are not in close combat have ran or jumped and can't shoot, so we can skip to this phase as well as the psychic phase, of course, and go immediately to the hand-to-hand combat phase. So the remaining normal scout against the Stormboy, 4 and 2. Weapon skill 4, meaning 8.
I've got 9.
9, so 1.
1 hit on 3s. Yep. And -1 for you.
Okay, a 5 up armor save. No. Okay, so he is slain. Break test. Because half of the squad is killed. Yeah, but the sergeant holds.
And this one will move on.
Okay, that's the end of my fourth turn. Only 2 miniatures remaining, but especially Chaplain is in a good position to get off the battlefield.
Normally, nothing can stop him from.
Was in a good position.
Only a lucky shot from the autocannons of the attack bikes, but these will be only on 6s. I don't think so. And even then, he's got a toughness of 5 and the 4+ save. Okay. Okay, we are back at the end of my fourth movement phase. As you can see, they accelerated.
Fast speed.
And my warbikes should be able to hit the hiding chaplain on a 6, whereas the Scorcher should be able to use his heavy flamer successfully.
But as I said to Marcus before, it's debatable if this miniature can go to fast speed without a driver,
with a
missing
wheel
and a wheel.
I got all of them.
Okay.
Inside a box of a box of a box.
And, like a miracle, none of the Stormboys exploded in midair.
Yeah, they jumped once more, and I rolled lots of 10s, halved 5s, but
not a single misfire. It's really astonishing.
Okay, I think shooting
and quite
is next.
surprisingly, no contingent arrived this turn.
Okay, so my
flamer guy. Okay,
one flamer
4 versus 4 because it's a sergeant? No?
No.
Flamed on 4+?
Yep. And then I've got 4 bolt pistol guys. I think they
Hitting
will
on
hit on
2s
twos.
because they got +2.
2 for short range.
Yeah. So 3 bolt hits.
Yeah.
3 times wounding on 4s
Mhm.
because of the toughness 4 of the sergeant. Oh, a triple one.
That's bad luck. Okay. But I
this
think
is
he's
quite funny if you
yeah.
though flamed managed to get off the table in the last turn.
But I think he's
Then he
He's
will
not
turn
able
into charge
to-
and nail
yeah.
it.
he's not able to
Reach the table next time, but
maybe the fire goes out. Okay, and then my last desperate attempt. I've got a large
it's
template.
definitely in range. Okay.
Yeah.
So strength 5. I
5
think,
versus a toughness 5 is on
force
4s.
to wound. No.
No.
Flamed on a 4.
Flamed.
No.
And
This
then
was good.
2 attack bikes on 6s.
No.
None of them. So, congrats, Alex, you've won because there's no way your interrogated chaplain can't turn around and jump away. Okay.
Okay, I think, but it was really close. It was
Yeah, it has been close once more. I'm really,
just
really lucky.
measure.
Yeah.
You see, it's
Because it started really bad. I
12
hope-
inch to
yeah.
the table edge, so he will successfully leave the table, and maybe even such a layman, though flamed, will be able to reach in the third table edge.
Yeah, because the most
But we can
lucky
the conclusion-
outcome of effect would have been another one, which we'll discuss later.
Yeah. Okay, guys, back for the conclusion of the scenario 3 of our quite impressive campaign yet. It was a really, really close game. After we finished the scenario, we just rolled for fun once again. If Marcus would hit with his twin-linked autocans of the warbikes against the chaplain, and he managed to roll 1-6, causing hits. I think you rolled 2 hits for the sustained fire dice and managed to wound the chaplain, and he didn't manage to pass his Rosarius test and would be killed subsequently because of the D6 wounds or whatever. So you, as you see, as in the scenario 2, where only one model really survived at the end. In this scenario, again, it was until the last roll, dice roll, it was
That's really
open which side will get the victory. And the outcome is, for this scenario, for the Orks, it is a really easy scenario because even if they lose, they doesn't get any malus or didn't receive any benefits. But if the Space Marines had lost the game, the Orks would have get 10% of points for the rest of the campaign. And you should have played the scenario again and again and again if this, until the Space Marines really indeed win the scenario. So it can cause the Orks get really lots of points for the upcoming scenarios. So I was really lucky that I managed to win in the first attempt. So the Orks won't get any benefits in points for the remainder of the campaign, and don't suffer any penalties for not winning the scenario.
And last time you played the Orks, you were successful in one of the following scenarios, which resulted in the final battle being played with another army coming from behind. So I think they were fighting Nazdreg, and there was a force from Ghazghkull. And if both of these armies get an additional 10%, it's really a force.
Yeah, but we hope you liked the scenario because it was really intense, and after the first round I thought it will be a quite easy win because only the Borbers arrived, and I imagined, okay, the Rebolter and the attack point with the Multimator will immediately kill the 5 Borboys, and then I can cut and run as the scenario name, but it turned out to be quite difficult to hit the boys because of the -2 to hit modifier. and my bad dice rollings, of course. And so it was quite close until the end of the 4th turn.
I think the best outcome for me would have been that during the first turns only heavy weapons arrive, or maybe Gretchen or stuff like that. And
so that I can't flee the battlefield.
So that the Space Marine force would be deeply inside the deployment, the scouting zone, and not be able to retreat until then all of a sudden, additional to all of my firepower, then suddenly the bikes, the Scorcher, and maybe the Storm Boys or the Boar Boys arrive. But it was okay. I was lucky on the other hand, so that meaning that within every of the 3 first rounds I rolled 4+ for a contingent.
Each round the contingent arrived.
Yeah.
And quite funny, because Marcus told me before we played the game that the strategy card in St. Courage is not a stupid rubbish card, I don't use it.
I would have preferred Strafing Run.
Yeah, but I think although the Boar Boys didn't kill the chaplain, at least they hold him for 1 or 2 turns in close combat. And it was in the end not so bad.
Yeah.
Instead, the barrage it turned out to be not so successfully because of the 2d6 scatter you have to roll. And even if some models were below the template, they would only be hit on a 4+ roll. So it's really maybe it will pay off against a masked enemy army like Imperial Guard or Orks in the deployment zone if you have 2,000 points or something. But in this scenario, it was, as you have seen, quite nonsense strategy card. Okay.
If I had been able to choose one, I'd probably have taken Strafing Run.
Yeah.
Or maybe reinforcements.
Or even booby traps that you at least have the chance that were triggered by a roll of 5.
Booby traps won't work against the interrogator chaplain. Another one I already had in the army list, but I had to deduce or cut out once more, was the leader for my Boar Boys, because Boar Boys are, says the result of one of our former games is that from scenario 4 on, you pay triple price where double price and so on. But even in this scenario, I had to pay double price. And so a real leader, a big boss on a cyborg would have been around with a power fist and stuff like that, around 100 points. And I had to take Nazdreg as a leader, who is really quite expensive at 145 points. Okay.
Okay, but hopefully you enjoyed the battle as we did.
And
I think we will be back a little bit sooner than the gap between the second and third scenario this time.
When Alex pretended to be ill, in order, hoping for me to forget the rules for one of the fantasy.
Okay.
On the other hand, this gives us a lot of time to paint some more models, because we'd like to do maybe one glorious war bike or one Scorcher.
But they're really quite old metal war bikes. They look really, really nice, especially the twin-linked autocans and the Ork driver with his helmet. It's a really absolutely fantastic model.
And to be honest, I'd like to do one war bike, maybe the Scorcher, the Ravenwing Land Speeder, and maybe one support weapon till our next game. In 2 weeks, because next weekend it's traditionally
fantasy time.
Fantasy time.
Okay.
Okay, see you.
See you
Thanks
next
for
time.
watching.
Bye.